Happy Monday night, folks. Welcome to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. TPO Doc Talk podcast is up next. We're talking All American Kayak Series LaCrosse Pools 7, 8, and 9. Man, it's coming up this weekend. Bucket list. You don't want to miss this. We got some guests stopping in. Let's go ahead and get the Doc Talk rolling. Happy Monday night, folks. Welcome back to the TPO Doc Talk podcast here on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. It's me, Gene. What's happening? Hope you all are enjoying your summer here. We're winding this thing down, man. Got a little bit more summer. We're in the dog days right now. Super hot out there. The bugs are good. It's frogging season of all things. That's all I think about come this time. But man, we are heading off to LaCrosse in a couple days. We're going to be on the road. It's 13, 14-hour run for us. But we're going to be just giddier than a schoolgirl the whole drive getting there, man, because we're going to one of my favorite places in the entire U.S., especially this time of year to go fish, man, and that's LaCrosse, Wisconsin. The place around here, man, the people in the area, the businesses, the river, everything is an angler's dream, man. I'm telling you, I had the honor and privilege to be able to fish these waters a ton out of my bass boat for many, many years. The last time I was there in a kayak was literally, I've never caught as many fish on the river as I did that entire weekend out of a kayak down there. And from what we're hearing, talking to some people out there, man, this season, the river is fishing amazing right now. If you're not signed up, get over to the Tourney X right now. Go over to get set up here with the All American Kayak Series. You can also double dip with the Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We got a couple guests sitting here waiting before we bring them in. I just want to do our PSA reminder. If you know of an active military veteran, first responder, former first responder in your life somewhere, if you know of them, reach out to them, say hello, see how they're doing, check in on them, make sure they're doing good, and make sure they know that you are available to them. If they need to chat, if they need a beer, they need to go fishing, take them fishing above, no matter what, always go fishing. But just make sure you've got connection with these folks and make sure they know they have connection with you. Remind them the importance that they serve for us in the community and how grateful we are as citizens and as fellow veterans and active military first responders out there. Just do your part. It's a small little deal, but make sure you're keeping connection flowing out there. Together we can definitely do the Stop 22 piece here, but it's going to take every last one of us to help our nation's warfighters not lose the battle here at home. All right, we've paid the bills. Let's go ahead and bring in a couple of these guys here. First and foremost, the man himself from the All American Kayak Series, Mr. Joshua Booth. How are you, boss?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good, brother. Good. Just getting zooked up, man. I'm super excited. Just got back from a birthday weekend with the wife up in the mountains. And now I'm looking forward to tomorrow getting that kayak in the back of the truck and loading up all a box of frogs, man.
Yep. Time to load up on the frogs and the chatterbaits.
Hell yeah. There's a guy that we got sitting in the green room right now that knows a thing or two about this himself. And this is the guy that's really helping set this stage for us, man, so we can get into LaCrosse there and really check out there. Let's go ahead and bring in the man himself, Mr. Jeremiah Burrish. Jeremiah, what's happening, brother?
Not too much. How you guys doing?
Hey,
Good,
Jeremiah.
man.
Good. Thanks for having me on, and appreciate you guys coming this weekend, and excited to have everybody and really showcase the fishery.
Hell yeah, man. And we've been hearing all kinds of scuttlebutt out there that, man, it's this year. It has been fishing amazing this year, and it's not stopping. I mean, even though the water levels seem to be kind of regulating out to where the river's a little bit more normal, it still seems the fishing's still on fire. Is that what you're seeing?
Absolutely. It's honestly, we've never seen anything like it with the weights. And this last weekend was another. It's Bites 95. It's a local tournament, but
I remember those guys.
Yeah, 1941 won it, and that's absurd. In the summer, you just don't see that. In May when we hosted the Bass Nation qualifier. We had a 3-day tournament and 64 pounds won over 3 days. When the Elite Series has been here, and last time they were here in 2022, 64 pounds won over 4 days. And so
Wow.
it is
Damn.
lights out right now. I just went out on Sunday, actually doing some walleye fishing with a buddy in his boat, and at least a 4-pound smallmouth. We didn't have a scale, but it was at least 4 pounds, over 19 and a quarter, probably 19 and a half. I don't know.
Cool.
Ended at 19, and so the one that he had his bump board in his boat. So and again, we weren't even targeting them, but and then obviously the largemouth has been really good. That's what that 19-pound sack was, 1941, all largemouth. So they're crushing them. We had a big bass tour, which is an hourly big bass series that was here just 2 weekends ago. Big fish for the tournament was a 551, I believe, and that was a smallmouth. And everything.
Wow.
There was definitely smallmouth that played, but I mean, this time of year, a 5.5-pound smallmouth is absurd, and a bunch over 5s, tons of 4s, a lot of high 3s and stuff. And again, those are big fish for this time of year.
I know, and the way them fish are built up there too, just a 3-pounder, you'll think you've got like a double-digit bass on down in Texas or something. Those fish have shoulders and they fight, and they are strong fish. And I couldn't imagine a 5-pounder. I'm up there. I'd be so happy with that, just one fish. Wow.
Just pack up and go home.
Success. Go get some cheese curds, some spotted cow beer, and call it good.
Dude, you just hit the whole gamut right there. Cheese curds and spotted cow beer. I mean, that's LaCrosse, baby.
Yes, it is. Fishing, beer, and cheese. That's why I love going up there too. Why do you think, Jeremiah, that it's fishing like it is right now? I kind of have a theory. My theory is that, it was really high and flooded for a lot of the season this year. Maybe those fish were just protected and nobody could get to them for a while. And so now everybody kind of has access to those fish if the water's returning normal. And so they're just chewing on everything thrown at them. Is that kind of what's going on?
I mean, I certainly think that's part of it. I think there's a lot of things that have just lined up to make it great. One of those things was it like 2018, I think, when the water was super high for the entirety of the year. And it was one of the best spawning years that the DNR has said they've seen for multi-species. Walleye was phenomenal because everything went up to spawn. And normally when it comes up, then it comes down, and then you lose a lot of those fish, all of those spawners. And I think that breed, that year of fish is now getting to be what was 2-pounders is now getting to be those bigger fish. And so there's a lot of them, and they're healthy. There's a ton of bait in the river, as there always is. We had a very mild winter, and so we didn't have a big shad kill. And so there's a lot of shad in the water. So they're just gorging on shad. They have been, and they continue to. And so I think it's kind of just the perfect storm of a lot of factors.
Wow.
I don't like saying that a fish kill is ever good, but we did host the high school tournament last year, the World Finals and National Championships. And some of those kids don't take as good a care of fish. They just don't have the same access to great boats, or, they have mechanical issues or whatever. And not that a lot of fish died. When you have 412 boats and it's only a 3-fish limit, not a lot of fish died still, but there is a little more than you would normally see, I would say. And it's just like anything else. If you have too much of something, they compete and they don't have the same, the growth. It's just like how the DNR keeps deer populations down. So I don't, that also contributed to it a little bit. There's still an abundance of fish. Like it's not like they're running out or we had a huge kill off or anything like that. But I don't know if that's a contributing factor or not too. But I mean, I think it's just one of those small factors to one of the many small factors that's leading to just phenomenal bags.
Whatever it is, we'll take it, right? Whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. It when we talk about this every year, about different locations around the country and of people having an opportunity to go fish in some of these places, because it's like nothing you'll ever see. And LaCrosse, I'll be honest with you, for many years, I took it for granted, man. I lived an hour 15 from there. I was, Rochester, Minnesota, so an hour, hour and a half, whatever it is. I was real close. I didn't fish it as much as I should have because it was hands down the best place I could have been going. After a while, you kind of look at that stuff, but once removed from it and then getting a chance to go back there, and then of course also fishing all around the country and seeing different locations, LaCrosse just year after year continues to remain healthy, and it's an angler's paradise in that if you want backwaters, there's backwaters. If you want river, you want to go fish some river current, go fish some river current. There's fish there too. If you want standing water and you want to get away from that, there's standing water there that you can find in any one of these pools, right? I mean, it's each pool is got its own personality, but the river just remains healthy through and through. And kudos to the people that manage that thing, man, because we all know the catch and release is a big deal, but there is a point by which yeah, like you said, man, you got to thin out some, right, and let that bigger population get in there. You want those big boys and girls playing around for a while because a few years down the line, this is what we see, and that's awesome stuff, man. You guys at Explore LaCrosse, you guys bend over backwards, man, to bring in venues like this and other events that go into that area to just introduce people to this. Explain a little bit about what Explore LaCrosse is for the anglers out there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Gene. And yeah, we definitely do. Explore LaCrosse is what's called a DMO, a destination marketing organization. And we're a convention and visitors bureau that is just like, they're in every major city and smaller cities. We're a tier 3 city. We're not the Milwaukee's or Minneapolis's of the world, but my job personally is to bring in sports, but we bring in sports, we bring in conventions, we bring in leisure travel, whatever it might be. But again, my job is sports. And so obviously fishing tournaments lands in my realm. It's a passion of mine. And I just happen to live in one of the greatest fisheries there is. And so it's a big niche that we have right here. It's in the top 100 and top 25 for Central Division for the Bassmasters, top 100 lakes. And it's just abundant with fish. And we love showing it off. It continues to be healthy. The nice thing about fishing tournaments is that it brings people in, right? So people from all over the country are coming in, staying in our hotels, staying in our, eating in our restaurants, going shopping here while they're here, bringing their families. A lot of times the anglers bring their families, especially with the big tours. Whenever they see LaCrosse on the stop, they love it on the schedule because they know that's one that they're going to bring their families to. LaCrosse is just a big, small town. We have all the amenities that anyone could ever ask for in a very small footprint. And so it's 10 minutes to anything max, right? You get to the boat ramp and be at 25 different restaurants in 10 minutes. Weigh-ins and then the bars. There's most bars on one street used to be in the world records. We still have
there's no shortage of pubs.
There's no shortage of them. So it's a great thing. And the very unique thing about fishing and kind of outdoor recreation sports in general, I feel the same way about like cycling events, mountain biking, road cycling, whatever it might be, any type of races like that, as well as fishing, is that it's not like a basketball court or a football field that's the same everywhere you go. People, go for a tournament somewhere when it's fishing, and they need to practice. They need to figure out how to navigate the river. They need to understand how the fish are biting on that body of water versus the lake that they're used to, or whatever it might be. You go to a basketball court, you go in for the day and you leave for the next day because it's a basketball court. You don't need to go in and practice and figure it out. And so the impact that tournaments have here is just incredible because people come in for 3-4 nights to practice for a 1 or 2 day tournament. And just the impact that has on our area is incredible. And then it provides that ripple effect too, which is showcasing it, right? So all the media like this, or when Bassmasters in Major League Fishing, and we get all the live stream that goes with it, and then the national TV coverage beyond that, the hundreds of articles that go along with it on Bass Blaster and, Angler's Dream and whatever else that might pick up those articles. Is just more media, and it continues to showcase it really unlike anything else that we can really bring here.
That's awesome stuff, man. And that's the thing I love about the areas when you're talking pools 7, 8, and 9. We talked about they have their own personalities, but what's also kind of cool is you got two sides to the river too. You got the Wisconsin side, the Minnesota side, and then you got the Wisconsin side and the Iowa side, right? So you've got the tri-state area all in play with these. Talk to me, pool 7 and 8, that's pretty much Onalaska and LaCrosse, right? I mean, that's the main cities there. Pool 9, is it Lansing? Is that kind of the biggest town around there? Or, for pool 9 down south there, what's what are the main areas around that?
Yeah, pool 9 starts in Genoa and on the Wisconsin side and goes all the way to I believe it's Lincoln in Wisconsin. Definitely the biggest town on either side would be Lansing, Iowa, which is a great area. There's multiple launches in that area. Sets up a lot like Goose Island, kind of, in the fact that there's a lot of backwatery areas and tons of sloughs, and you can get lost out there in a good way. I mean, get away from the crowds and just a ton of places that you can fish and be close to some main current really quickly too, though. So a lot of options down there. Again, there's launches further south and further north, everywhere in between there as well. But definitely Lansing on pool 9 would be the biggest town on that side. It stretches from New Albin on the Iowa side, again all the way south. I don't know exactly what the furthest south is even on the Iowa side, but that Lansing is your main bridge from Wisconsin to Iowa, if that's
really
there.
long bridge, yeah, that runs across there.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, there's at least 2, if not, there's 3 launches right there on that bridge or next to it, and then a couple other ones that are very close as well. You got Black Hawk, the campground down there, which is.
I can personally attest to Black Hawk, man. I have still yet to find a campground that is as well maintained, as clean, just centrally located. That thing, it's taken care of by the Army Corps engineers there. And dude, I mean, those showers, those things are is like, I mean, unbelievably clean, especially for campground. I mean, they're clean for hotel standards. I mean, it was it was amazing staying there. I absolutely loved my time with that. So one of the big things too, we just talked about the 3-state thing, right? But there is some special regulation when it comes to your fishing license. Here's the tip that I have is get a Wisconsin fishing license, because that'll take care of you no matter where you fish on 7, 8, and 9, even if you're launching from the Minnesota or Iowa. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's as long as you are fishing between the railroad tracks on both sides. Is that correct?
That is correct. If you go up on the Iowa or Minnesota side beyond the tracks, you need to have that state's license, which, I mean, there's, you could go up the Root River or something well beyond the tracks or whatever. Personally, I wouldn't, but certainly some people might. There might be other sloughs or other rivers or creeks or tributaries that might produce better down in Iowa or on the Minnesota side somewhere. But yeah, I 100% agree. The Wisconsin license is the way to go. It covers 99% of the water that you could want to fish. Again, unless you really start going way up a creek on the Minnesota or Iowa side and get past those railroad tracks that run parallel to the Mississippi River on both sides.
And Josh, explain to us again, just to make sure that everybody understands boundaries for this. For this event here, we're 7, 8, and 9. There's the lock and dam at each, but then the side to side, you had mentioned something about that with the launches and so forth. So
yeah,
explain that.
Basically, it is just inside the tracks. You can launch anywhere you want on a public access as long as you're in between the tracks. But there are a few places that you can launch from that are like just outside of the tracks. Like you can see the railroad tracks from there. That's real close. And a lot of people have asked me about, whether or not those launches would be allowed or not. And we have allowed them in the past. So we're going to go ahead and do that again. So basically launch within the tracks. But if you find a spot that's just outside the tracks and you're right there by the tracks and you can still see the tracks, you're good. And if you have any questions about that or concerns, just shoot me a message and I can confirm that for you. But in a nutshell, in between the tracks or right next to the tracks, hopefully that makes sense.
Yep, and that's the same for 7, 8, and 9, all the way down. Something to make mention on this too. Nick was unable because of scheduling and work and such. He wasn't able to make it here from the Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series. That event will be going on at the very same time as ours, and they are in an awesome move. They are turning their event. They are going to follow the exact rules of the All American Kayak Series for this event. It's going to be a 2-day event for them. They're going through that. So you can join into their event. They're going to do the 10 fish format like we're doing, which is, something a little bit different than the other guys. And the Great Lakes is going to follow suit with that. They're going to match it. So you truly can the whole time fish both of these events side by side. Going through, and I thought that was super cool. They had a blast with us up at Minocqua. They loved partnering with us up there. Their awards will be immediately following ours. Right now, what we're looking at for awards is going to be at one of the most iconic places in the LaCrosse area, and that is the major launch there at Veterans Memorial. It's called Veterans Memorial Park. Is that correct?
Yep.
Jeremiah? Yeah, and that's at the main launch right there at French Island, that area. Yep. So that's where we're going to be hosting the awards right now. I'll update some of that as I get into town. I'll be getting in late Wednesday, and I'll have a couple days to poke around in the evening time there just to secure an exact pin. But the awards will be in LaCrosse. I can guarantee you that. So if you're looking to try to find your day 2 on where you're going to be fishing, just know that up in LaCrosse, and if you've never seen this park in the middle of LaCrosse there, you have to. It's an amazing park. I've had the privilege to be a part of 200 plus boat launches, from that location with the MLF back in the BFL days, 150 to 200 boats sometimes, man. It was nuts going through there. But what I loved is the fact that you could get that many boats pretty seamlessly through that launch because there's 6 lanes, something like that. It's insane. Yeah, it's awesome there. But the park is super expansive and a lot of great memorials set up in there. Lots of shade in cool areas, and so that's where I'm thinking we'll do the awards for this one. And this kind of brings us here. We know we've got a group of guys that are going to be signing up last minute coming in here. And I've said this, I get to pick on them myself because I'm not the tournament director. I don't have to wear the headaches for this like the other guys do. But I can tell you, it drives me up a wall. And it's like, come on, guys, we're trying to plan this thing. And I look at you tournament directors, Josh, and I just like, hats off to you, man, for the amount of stuff that you got to deal with anglers, waiting down to the last second to jump in. It's like, it makes it rough, trying to plan, working with guys like Jeremiah. We want to show them that we're bringing some people into town and getting going. But I'm anticipating that we'll see definitely that crowd coming through, man. LaCrosse is this is one of those places that if you've never been, or if you have been, you want to get back. If you've never been, you need to go. It's pretty much that simple there. Just come fish with us.
And an easy sell to the significant others, guys and girls. This is an awesome place to bring the whole family.
Right.
There's a ton of stuff to do. We have amazing children's museum, tons of shopping. Our downtown's amazing for shopping. And on top of it, we haven't mentioned it yet, but this is in conjunction with a little event that we're doing to showcase paddling for the entire weekend. It's called Paddles and Premieres. It's a free weekend. We have multiple premieres on Thursday and Friday night at the Rivoli Theater going on with a bunch of different paddling films. Free to attend. They just ask for registration. And on top of that, too, is Friday or Saturday and Sunday, we partnered with a bunch of businesses and are showcasing free paddling excursions from stand-up paddle boards to kayaks, canoes, all different kinds of things in multiple locations throughout our area for the family to go out and enjoy while the guys are out there slaying some fish too. So a lot of really cool opportunities to do in an easy sell this weekend.
Taking my wife up there before too, and she just loves it. And yeah, there's all kinds of little shops to walk around to, and all the little areas around the river. It's a really great place to visit, not just to go fishing, but just to be there. And the people are all real nice, and the towns are all real clean. I really enjoy getting up there every year.
Mike is one of the OGs of the All American and Moyak and all these. I mean, he's been around the country fishing all kinds of stuff, and even he's given a nod to that. His family loved it up there last year. That's awesome to see. Couple guys joining in, commenting here. Mr. Andrew out of Minnesota. We will be in LaCrosse this coming weekend, brother. You need to come on down there, and I got you a beer and some cheese curds on me, dog. We'll get you hooked up. Yeah, just let me know. We're 2 days, the 17th and 18th. Is when the All American will be rolling through there, and yeah, man, hit me up, Andrew. We need to connect, brother, for sure. And then of course we got our Georgia connection down there. What's happening, boys? Appreciate that. Just a cool announcement. We just brought their podcast into the Paddle and Fin podcast network. They're joining in with us, so that's a cool deal. We grew a little bigger here at the Paddle and Fin. So this Rivoli Theater, it's in downtown LaCrosse, is that right? And it's a paddle sports deal. You were saying something about they did a documentary where they started up north and paddled through, and this is like one of the guys was from LaCrosse, one of the guys from the cities, and another guy. What the heck was that about again?
Yeah, so on Thursday night at the Rivoli Theater, they're premiering the what's called the Mississippi Speed Record, which is 4 guys that canoed and paddled the length of the river from the headwaters all the way down to the Gulf in record time. And I wish I could remember the time right now. I don't remember what it is offhand, but it's just astounding. And then they documented the whole thing. This was just last year, and so this is the second showing ever. Just this last weekend, they did a showing in Minnesota and Minneapolis. As one of their main captain is out of Minneapolis, but then Judson Steinbeck is a local here out of LaCrosse. He is one of the 4 that set the record, and then 2 other guys are from somewhere else. I think one's New York, if I remember correctly, and one Ohio or something like that. I don't even remember where the other 2 guys are from, but just an incredible thing. There's so much planning and logistics that actually go into that. It sounds like, yeah, kind of a basic thing, you paddle, but you have to have a trail boat that's on you all the time. Obviously cameras. These guys are sleeping, eating, everything for the entirety of this trip. And it's just incredible. Some close calls and some scary encounters. It's really cool, almost broke the record a few years ago, but unfortunately they, right at the end, they were only like a few hours from the finish, and they actually tipped their canoe over and lost the whole thing. And so all that effort was for naught that weekend. So.
Oh my God! And that's Thursday night. Is that correct? That's Thursday night when that's going on.
Yep, that's correct. You want to say hi?
Hi there, little one.
She sees herself. So I got a question for you, Jeremiah, about food. I'm all about that food when I like to travel and go up there. And so where is the best place to get those cheese curds? And where is the best place to take your family to go to a diner and get some really good home cooking food?
So that's a really tough question because there's so many great options. LaCrosse is filled with it. On Alaska, the surrounding areas, La Crescent's got some phenomenal places. Really anywhere that you stay, there's a ton of mom and pop eateries, diners, whatever it might be. It's local. It's Evie, hold on. Evie, yep. So it's just phenomenal. Alaska has a lot of the great mom and pop stuff too, but they have a lot more of the chain stuff as well out by the mall area and some of those, more of the bigger chain stores. So we have all that stuff too. But really the downtown area of LaCrosse has so many things because there's dozens of places to eat. They're all phenomenal, great cooks. Man, if I had to pick one place for great cheese curds, It's really tough. Man, I don't know. I can't do it. I think our partners would be upset if I picked one. So. And they're all different. That's the thing. They all do stuff a little different, you know,
different dipping sauces and stuff like that.
Sauces and yeah, there's just a lot of different cheeses. Like, you know, I love Buzzard Billy's and the Starlight Lounge. They make a pepper jack cheese bite that is just out of this world, and it's a kind of a Cajun place, and so they do it with like this Creole honey mustard and like a different ranch that's just out of this world. But then you got
Hell
places,
yeah.
and then you have places like the Crow that make these little square ones. That's just a really light breading, really. Oh man, and now I'm hungry.
I was gonna say I can feel my arteries closing up just now, just by thinking about this. This is awesome stuff. Good stuff. So let's talk beer, right? Spotted Cow always comes up, but is that actually from the LaCrosse area?
No, it's from New Glarus, which is a town not far from here. It's probably an hour and a half, I think, from here. But they don't. New Glarus is just big because they distribute all over the state and won't distribute outside of the Wisconsin lines. They've been some major, you know, companies like Anheuser that have tried to purchase them, and Miller, I think, prior to that, have tried to purchase New Glarus, and they won't have it. And so because they like what they keep it here in lines. I mean, the bars in Minnesota know how good it is because it's like an annual thing where you hear about a bar that bootlegged it and got caught and then has to pay fine. Whatever. I know a lot of guys on the trip continue to, every time they come up and visit, they take like 10 cases back.
I was going to say, are we doing some Smokey and the Bandit stuff here, Josh? You need me to get southbound and down?
Yeah, man. I don't know what the laws are about that, but I've done it a lot. In fact, I brought back 2 cases with me from Minocqua when I was up there. So
allegedly,
actually, yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I think that's what it was. I'm not really sure. But I need some more, whatever it was. I can't remember, but I'm out. So, but yeah, man, it is some good stuff. It's some good quality beer. And I think the lure of it too is that you could only get it in Wisconsin. So if you don't live there or near the border, you're just tough out of luck. So I think that kind of the forbidden fruit appeals to us.
That's right. The beer fruit.
And beyond that too, there's some other great breweries here in town. We just had Turtle Stack is right downtown. They just won a gold medal at one of the world beer championships in a certain, I don't remember what it was, but the beer is delicious. It's a super great drinking beer, real traditional in style, but awesome. Pearl Street Brewery has a bunch of great beers and awesome tours. The LaCrosse Distillery actually makes their own beer, and then Phenomenal Spirits again right downtown. There's another great place in Onalaska. There's just a ton of great places, breweries to check out when you're here too. So.
Right. You know, you just make a little list and get your practice in, get your pre-fishing done, and then, get out there, get moving around, go check it out. It's well worth it. Let's talk real fast here before I let you go, man. Let's talk tackle. In that area, kayak anglers, are there a number of, or is there one kayak dealer in there? If we got some guys that run into problems that need some, maybe some parts and things of that nature, regardless of brand, is there a kayak shop in town or around the area that we can connect with?
Yeah, so right next to the launch, or where you guys are going to do your awards there on French Island too, is Island Outdoors. They deal a lot of Yak Attack products. They have a phenomenal tackle shop, tons of options there. They do have a few different kayak brands that they offer. I don't recall what they are right offhand.
It's okay.
But I know it's not Hobie. I know it's not Bonafide. We don't have any of those dealers nearby within at least an hour and a half. But otherwise, we got Rutabaga down in Madison if anybody needs to, on the way through, pick something up. Or we do have a Dick's Sporting Goods here too. They do have a few things. And then our Ace Hardware has a sportsman's section that is out of this world too, and they actually just expanded it. They bought the building next door just to expand their sporting goods section, and it was already the biggest sporting goods section I've ever seen in an Ace Hardware. And
wow,
it's tripled in size, and the amount of tackle and stuff they have in there is crazy too. So on the south end of town, you got something easily.
So now Island Sports, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't old Tom, isn't he associated with them a little bit?
Tom Mansour?
Yeah.
He lived probably like a mile and a half from there, but
right. I don't know why I always thought of his name every time I thought it's, for those of you who don't know, Tom is an old river rat, man. Tom has won at the highest level of our sport. He's won right there in lacrosse. You're going to be hard pressed to find a guy that knows that river the way Tom does, through and through. And had a chance to fish against him in some of those events, and that's also watch him put on a show in a place he shouldn't. This is what I love about lacrosse, the Black River. Okay, folks, I'm going to give you what the common knowledge is. The Black River on Pool 8 is commonly known as the place for numbers, but not quality. Okay, I watched Tom Mansour on the Black River, literally about 4 or 5 rock throws away from the ramp is what it felt like, win at an elite level FLW event right there using his patented swim jig maneuver. It was amazing watching him work that area and finding fish that other guys, he's right there in front of God and everybody, man, just doing old Tom Mansour things, And it's the cool thing about that river is there's common knowledge, but then at any given day, man, if you put in the work and effort, you never know what you're gonna, pull up from, some of those depths. Could be one of those 4 or 5 pound smallies that those boys have been finding. That's a ton of fun to get a hold of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tom's the one who won the tournament this last weekend with 1941. So
was that Tom?
Yeah, and second was right there too. They had upper 18, so he didn't run away with it. And yeah, Tom's just an incredible stick. The godfather of the, I can guarantee you he was catching him on that swim jig.
Yeah, through and through. I learned a lot about fishing that river from just watching his videos, talking to him, seeing some of his feedback. It was a great place to start to get me rolling when I had never been there before, for sure. So, well, awesome, man. So yeah, we got a couple tackle options there. Ace is the place for your tackle in lacrosse. Go check those guys out. Ace, you can send the check right to our studio here. And then, of course, Island Sports. Check those guys out. Great tackle solution. Island also, if you're having kayak issues. Hey, as a special reminder also, one of our great series sponsors, Catch, has still made sure that I have a few catch boards on hand. So if you get to lacrosse and you have a problem with your catch measuring device, I have catch boards available to sell to you. I do not have loaners, but we can sell you these at basically whatever the retail given price is online. I have it on hand so you can salvage your tournament. And if we happen to be fishing close by somewhere out there, I'll make sure that I get it to you, even, if needs be. If you're close to where my truck is, then we can get you squared away. But Dubro Fishing, man, Dewey Baits, I'm going to be putting those bad boys into full effect. They're another series sponsor for us. Rogue Tethers, make sure you got those bad boys. Z-Pro Lithium Power. Those boys are making sure we got power for days and days out there. That's right. Got a Z-Pro koozie. Josh, have you seen, and Jeremiah, have you seen a guy online took those koozies and with a couple of little cuts and moderations, he turned them into reel protectors? Like he gets them over his reels, man, because he always has, guys always have so many of these koozies. He turned those things into like a reel protector for traveling. I'm like, look at that. Big brain stuff, man.
Engineer. Redneck.
That's right. Better redneckerize. All right, Jeremiah. Well, listen, man, we can't thank you enough for stopping in for us here. Explore LaCrosse. Go give them a like on Facebook, Instagram. Check them out there. When you're in the area, if you need suggestions, places, things to go, look them up online. Jeremiah, I'm sure, would be glad to point you in the right direction. And go check out all the restaurants, all the cheese curds and beer, and this paddle, dude, Thursday night at Reveille Theater. I'm going to be there at that thing because I want to see this trip of how they did this. And before I let you go, last thing to share, how I met you. This is always a funny deal. 3 years ago,
yeah.
Lewis and Clark were way up in the middle of nowhere on the Missouri River. I've never fished it. I'm checking out a section of the river that may not be okay. I'm coming back, not overly pleased with what I saw. Some dude pulls up. Sup, man? How's it going? We start talking. I think we talked like an hour, man, talking fishing. It was Jeremiah. Before we knew it, neither one of us realized we are staying together in the same Airbnb with the same group of guys from Iowa there. So that was my first interview. I'm like, holy shit, you're the dude in LaCrosse, man. So that was awesome. That was awesome to fish with you up there and hang out. That group is a special group of dudes.
Yeah, that was fun. They let a badger into the hawk's nest that weekend.
That's right. I just stayed back in the corner, just nodding and smiling.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeremiah, so very much. I'm looking forward. If you got any time, man, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be around, man. I'd love to get together with you and shoot the breeze there. Please come join us at the awards if you're around on Sunday. I think that's going to be around 2:30 range. Josh, isn't that what we're looking at normally for those?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Because we end early on with our format. We end at it'll be 12 or 12:30. Just wait to see that. We'll make that announcement depending on first light and all that good stuff. And oh yeah, mosquitoes. How they doing up there? Are they okay right now? Are they pretty rough?
It's not terrible, but I mean, with the high water that we had this spring, they were bad, and they haven't been as bad, but there's still always. I mean, it's the river and your water everywhere, backwaters and stuff, and so I'm telling you what, inside tip: Buggins. If you don't have Buggins, get Buggins. They have both gnat and mosquito repellent. Buggins is the brand. They have it at Ace. They have it at Island Outdoors. They don't really have it at any of your main chains. So go to one of those places, pick up your tackle, and get your Buggins, because that stuff, it's all natural. There's no DEET in it or anything like that. And I could care less about any of that stuff, but it works. The stuff repels.
Is it a spray? Do you eat it? What is it?
Yeah, it's a spray. It's just
okay.
This stuff is incredible.
Awesome. Cool. Buggins. You heard the man. Go get her done. All right, Jeremiah. Listen, man. Thank you again so very much. Send all of our thanks to you and the entire family. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you, brother, when we get there.
Likewise, man. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys up here in LaCrosse.
Sounds good, brother. Take care.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
All right, boss. It's gonna be an awesome one, man. We got the LaCrosse event here. This is stop number what? 4 or 5? 4. Man, I'm getting old, and this season is like in that strange time. September is like the next stage, right? That's what's in my head. That's when the poo hits the fan and the schedule goes nuts again.
Yeah,
so,
we've only got one more event left after LaCrosse. That's Ouachita. Before the championship. So getting close to the end of the season.
You know, I'm getting excited because I'm getting a bunch of guys asking me about the Table Rock Championship. And just as a reminder, folks, it is a completely open championship. Now, if you're in the All American Angler of the Year race, if you're a member of the All American Series and you've been fishing this series here, if you're in the top 25 AOI, you're getting in for free for this thing. Your entry fee is covered. But otherwise, it is open to anybody. We're doing our best right now as we speak, also to try to put on some really cool events going on around that the All American as well. So hopefully we'll pin some stuff down there and be able to share that with you. LaCrosse here, we tried to put together a couple different events there, but I think the scheduling of the time of year kind of got to it. But that paddle deal is going on. Go check those guys out. That'd be super cool. I'm gonna see if we can't get those guys on the podcast. That'd be an awesome deal to kind of cover that film that they have, man. That's I was thinking about something similar to that, for like a fundraiser, like paddling, down the Mississippi, PTSD awareness, Stop 22. And then I started doing the calculations on, okay, so if I'm averaging 3 to 4 mile an hour, like Jesus Christ, I won't get out of the Twin Cities for 2 days. What the hell?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, is it ever? So yeah. And then of course the locks, there's always that would be tons of fun. Well, cool, man. I'm going to miss you up there, man. I wish you were going to be able to make this trip. I know how much you love LaCrosse and love that style of fishing. Frogging, bring your frog rods, suckers. Let's go frogging. Let's go bang them up there. Buzz baits, swim jigs, your Texas rigs. Let's get after it. It's hopefully let's see if we can put some equated bags to what some of these other places are putting up there. I want to see us represent pretty well, and I
Yeah,
have a feeling we should.
I would imagine that anybody going up to fish in this tournament, you can throw whatever you want, whatever you have the most fun with fishing style technique. It's probably going to work. Just fish to your strengths, and you're probably going to have a really good time.
Dude, with the shad, he said, with the shad being present, that's not always a thing. So the fact that there's a
No.
lot of bait fish, that means they're chasing, man. And if there's still enough water, those wing dams are going to be in play too. For those of you with spot lock and anchor mode, don't discredit those. Find you that right. You find that magic wing dam, that bad boy will reload, and you can sit there for some crazy amount of time just finding big old smallies. Like Josh said, they fight. They're born and raised in that river current, man. They fight hard.
Yeah, one downside to that though is you hook into one of those and you're fighting it and you're like, yeah, and you get him in the net, you land him and you throw him on the board and you're like, what? I thought this was 15 inches. What? I thought you were a 19, man. When I put you in the net, you shrunk. Yeah, so they shrink when they get in your net up there.
And make no mistake, the smallies will break your heart on that river. Okay, so I'm saying if you find them on tournament day, count your lucky stars and bend into them, man. Just lean on them, because what you find in practice for smallies, just pretty well count on the fact they're gone come tournament day. They like doing that to you. But greens, on the other hand, that's a little more reliable. If you find yourself a good old pot of them big old schlaunch donkeys in there, that could be a ton of fun. So. All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up here and get this thing out. Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series at Tourney X. Get signed up for that event. It's going on, and literally just shadowing and paralleling, same time, same rule sets. The whole 9 yards is going into effect along with the All American Kayak Series. Jump in both. Man, this is a chance that you could really cash in and make this a very lucrative weekend for yourself with a ton of success. And you got a shot then at 2 different big bass pots as well when you're getting involved in that. We want to thank the Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series for their anglers and their guys for making the trip down here, and for working with us in Monaco and working with us here. It's stuff like that, man. That's awesome stuff, and it speaks to the kayak community and speaks to just the club of the Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series. Those guys are phenomenal. I know we got that Iowa contingent coming in. We got a couple Missouri guys coming up. This should be good. I might be the only Colorado dude in this thing, man. But just so you suckers know, you might not hear a ton from me. I'm going to be your talking head, okay, at the awards. And I'll do the meetings. I'll get that stuff fired up. But during the day, might not hear a lot, because I'm getting serious about this one, damn it. I'm not driving 14 plus hours just to hang out with y'all and hand my money away. No, we're coming for it, man. This is I'm looking for this one. Time for some redemption for the old man. All right, Josh, thank you so much, man. You take care down there, and we'll be like I said, I'll be checking in with you as I land. We've got all the plaques and all the good stuff, so that'll go in the truck here. We'll be on the way.
Sounds like it's gonna be a good time.
All right, brother. You take care down there.
See you.
Yeah. All right, folks, as always, thank you so much. If you're watching this live, we love you guys. Thank you so very much. If you're watching it recorded, we love you just the same. Thank you so much for sticking in with us. This will be available on all major streaming audio platforms, and it should drop later actually in the middle of the night it'll drop, so it'll be available to download, and you'll be able to listen to just the recording audio only of this, on any of the major platforms here through the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. That's where you'll find the TPO Talk podcast. Check out the great programming coming from Paddle and Fin, man. We're adding more quality shows into the lineup here. Just putting the Paddle and Fin as one of the premier resources when it comes to podcast and kayak fishing, specific information out there. There is a show on our network for you. We do our own specific little thing, but check out Tuesday nights. You got Rusty Hook. You got Chasing the Tides for the saltwater guys out there. I know I'm forgetting. You got the Final Cast with my man Randy rolling. The Friday night. Brian, I'm sorry, by the boss, Mr. Brian Schiller himself. He's going on Friday nights, and like I said, I know we've got the The River Run podcast, that's kicking through. Matt Gibson's still keeping, I think Fishing for Noobs, that's still rolling. And I know I'm forgetting some others in there. I do apologize, but check it out, man. Go to the Paddle and Fin, check out all the great shows. There's something for everybody in there, and we're rolling 6-7 nights a week, man. We've got a show rolling in there. You can catch it live or you can catch it recorded. As always, folks, we can't thank you enough for the likes and the follows. That is exactly what we need to keep us rolling there. As always, tight lines, be safe.